What if Gary Valenciano walked onto the America's Got Talent stage one unforgettable night? This is a fictional what-if story created purely for entertainment. Stay until the very end because what happens in this imagined performance will leave you inspired. And before we begin, if you love emotional talent stories and uplifting moments, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next incredible story. Now, let's begin. The lights inside the America's Got Talent theater slowly dimmed as thousands of excited fans waited for the next contestant. Nobody expected anything unusual. The judges casually chatted among themselves while the audience whispered, wondering who would walk through the famous entrance. Then the stage manager quietly announced a name. Gary Valenciano. A wave of confusion spread through the theater. Some audience members recognized the legendary Filipino performer immediately. Others searched their memories, trying to remember where they had heard his name before. Cowell looked toward the stage with curiosity, raising one eyebrow as the curtain slowly opened. A man with decades of experience walked onto the stage with calm confidence. There was no flashy entrance. No dramatic music. No giant production. Just a warm smile, humble eyes, and a quiet confidence that could only come from a lifetime of performing. The applause began politely. Nobody realized they were about to witness something unforgettable. Terry Crews welcomed him with a smile. "So tell us about yourself." Gary smiled gently. "I've spent many years singing for people. Tonight, in this fictional story, I wanted to imagine what it would feel like to stand on this stage and simply share my heart." His answer was simple. Honest. Real. Simon leaned forward. "You've had a long career already. Why would you choose to compete now?" Gary paused before answering. "Because dreams don't have expiration dates. Sometimes we stop chasing new dreams because we believe we're too old, too experienced, or too comfortable. But every new stage gives us another opportunity to touch someone's life." The audience applauded warmly. The orchestra prepared. Everything became silent. Gary closed his eyes. He whispered a short prayer. Then the music began. His first note floated through the theater like a gentle breeze. Within seconds, conversations stopped. Phones lowered. Every eye focused on the stage. His voice carried warmth instead of power. It carried honesty instead of perfection. Every lyric sounded like it came directly from a lifetime filled with victories, failures, heartbreak, hope, and faith. Simon crossed his arms at first. But slowly, his expression changed. Howie Mandel smiled quietly. Heidi Klum gently placed a hand over her heart. Sofia Vergara's eyes sparkled as she watched the audience become completely silent. Nobody wanted the song to end. As the second verse began, something remarkable happened. The camera showed different audience members. An elderly couple held hands tightly. A young boy rested his head on his mother's shoulder. A father quietly wiped away tears while pretending nobody noticed. This wasn't just music anymore. It had become a conversation between one soul and thousands of others. Gary wasn't trying to impress anyone. He wasn't chasing fame. He wasn't competing against anyone. He was simply telling the world that hope can survive every disappointment. Halfway through the performance, the orchestra faded away. Only Gary's voice remained. No instruments. No effects. Nothing to hide behind. The silence inside the theater became almost sacred. Every word echoed through the room. Every note carried emotion. Simon looked down at his desk. He slowly removed his glasses. Even he seemed deeply moved by the sincerity of the performance. Backstage, Terry Crews whispered, "This is incredible." The production crew stopped talking. Camera operators forgot they were working. Everyone simply listened. As the final chorus arrived, the orchestra returned with breathtaking force. Strings soared. The choir joined softly. The audience slowly stood together. One person. Then another. Then another. Within moments, the entire theater was standing. The applause started before the song even ended. Gary reached the final note. He didn't shout. He didn't force it. He simply let it rise naturally until it filled every corner of the building. Silence followed. For one unforgettable second, nobody moved. Then the theater exploded. Cheers echoed through every seat. People cried openly. Complete strangers hugged one another. The judges stood immediately. Simon clapped continuously without saying a word. Gary smiled humbly, placing one hand over his heart. When the applause finally settled, Simon picked up his microphone. "I judged thousands of performances over many years." He paused. "And what touched me tonight wasn't simply your voice." Another pause. "It was your honesty." The audience applauded again. Howie added, "You reminded us that greatness isn't measured by age. It's measured by heart." Heidi smiled. "You made this entire theater feel like one family." Sophia laughed through tears. "I don't even know how to explain how emotional that was." Gary thanked everyone with genuine humility. He reminded the audience that success is never built overnight. Behind every beautiful performance are years of unseen practice, sacrifice, disappointment, and perseverance. He spoke about believing in yourself even when nobody else believes first. He encouraged young dreamers never to compare their beginning to someone else's middle. He reminded older dreamers that they are never too late to begin again. The audience listened carefully. Many people weren't crying because of the music anymore. They were crying because they saw their own lives reflected in his words. Parents remembered forgotten dreams. Teenagers found new courage. Grandparents smiled proudly. People left the theater believing that another chance is always possible. Whether someone is 20 or 70, dreams still matter. Whether success comes today or years from now, perseverance always has value. As Gary walked off the stage in this imagined story, every person who watched carried home something much greater than a song. They carried hope. Because talent may open doors. Experience may build confidence. But kindness, humility, faith, and perseverance are the qualities people remember forever. And perhaps that's the greatest lesson of all. Not everyone will become famous. Not everyone will stand under bright stage lights. But everyone has the ability to encourage another person, inspire another heart, and leave the world just a little brighter than they found it. If this fictional story inspired you, remember that your own story is still being written. Keep believing. Keep working. Keep singing your song, whatever it may be. Because sometimes the greatest standing ovation comes from knowing you never gave up on yourself.